Beautiful, beautiful. T.R. Savage. So now I'm going to bring in a couple of our guests, and I'll just do this here. Well, we got one bus, but I think John, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent. We're going to bring on Alexis as well. See if we can do that. John Gebratosa. Say your name the correct way for us listeners on Pan Africa Radio.
Yeah, Gebratatios.
Gebratatios. I was so wrong.
Sorry.
John is one of the founders and a lead actor in the group called Blackout. And Blackout, do you want tell us a little about Blackout while I try to bring Alexis on the line here?
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like we came together because there's no Black improv groups in the Twin Cities, so that was number one. And then number two, we came together because we just needed a place where we can laugh and heal for ourselves, and then kind of like speak to things that we needed to speak to. So that's kind of main reasons we came together.
Sweet. So, and tell us, you're in Minneapolis. You guys are coming to Madison to do a workshop and a performance next week. What's a Blackout comedy improv performance? Is it like Wayne Brady? What is it? What is it? What's?
Oh yeah, it is the opposite of Wayne Brady, but except for we're Black, so that's the same. So it's kind of the same, I guess. It's probably it's more close to long form and style improv where we can make up scenes, and scenes can be anything from quick little short scenes to long scenes, whatever we feel is necessary. But the audience will write suggestions that they want us to have a discussion about, and then it could be anything from cultural appropriation to macaroni and cheese, Thanksgiving,
mac and
or
cheese,
white Karen. There's a whole bunch of topics that we could talk about, and they could put it in the hat, and it'd be anonymous, so we don't know who put it in there. And then we have a discussion about what they put in there, and we just get up and do some improv inspired by the conversation we just had. Kind of do that over and over.
Excellent. All right. We also have one of the lead actors and performers, Alexis Camille. Are you with us, Alexis? Did we connect you?
Yep, I'm here.
Cool. Excellent. Alexis, also based in the Twin Cities. And what's been your experiences working with Blackout? What has that been like performing and acting? It sounds like you guys touch on a lot of issues around race, around identity.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say over the years, I always refer to back when I first saw Blackout before I was in the group. For me, I'd come to Twin Cities and I started doing a little bit of improv, and the community is predominantly white, and Blackout kind of came across my lap. I went and saw a show, and it blew my mind. There were these Black folks up there telling their different stories and representing in a way I'd never seen in mainstream media, on stages, anything. And they were having real conversations that are based on things that were really visceral to the audience. And they jump up and do this outrageous stuff and retell these stories in a really interesting way that kind of, opened up, kind of bridged this idea of what Blackness was, and also sharing in the experience, but through pure joy and laughter. And it was really nice to see Black folks having fun and being in joy. Because that's something I don't get to really see like that, and be real, talk about hard things.
Okay, so Alexis, what's kind of blowing my mind about this is what you're saying is that you can be Black and funny. Is that correct?
What? Yeah, and that's a tip, because growing up as a Black kid, as a Black woman, a lot of times, I was always really silly and all this kind of stuff, and it threw people off because as a Black woman, I was put into a box, And so if I was ever being silly, like, child, sit down, or what's up with that little black girl, you know, that kind of stuff, because I wasn't doing the thing that we're taught to do, which is like survive and mind your P's and Q's, stay in your box, and watch how you talk to folks so you don't get taken advantage of. And so there wasn't really room for that, but it was always like in me. So being with Blackout, man, now I can express myself. Being silly and being vulnerable in that way is like we share in the joy. We like embrace each other, and it's so cathartic. And you get to express in this way that like we're feeling it is like being silly is not something that's shameful.
Absolutely.
Like something silly is like, oh, it's like really liberating. And
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you know, it's our wholeness, right? With this, we're not only serious. It's Black History Month, yo. You know, the first day of Black History Month.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
And if you're not, you know, if you're spending all your time wallowing in the past or in the pain of the past, you know, you're not doing the other 50% of living, right? Tola, you wanted to say something? Okay. I thought you were motioning to me over there. This is a homeland to diaspora experience, both right now on the radio as well as in your group as well. John, I don't know how much you bring your Eritrean identity to the performance or perspective, but you have to be one of the singular East African, performers, kind of improv right now, especially in Minneapolis. Or I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. There's not many, if there are.
And in tribute, I'm playing the Aram sisters. I don't know if you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They make great music. Some of it's like bubblegum pop. I'll play some in a little bit. But, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, but don't get it confused. They're gangster. They'll bring that smoke. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. How does
No, he meant that.
Does any of your heritage play into your performances at all?
I think so. I think there's a lot of just the nature of being playful is something that's shown in the culture in Eritrea. It's very I don't know how you say it, but like it's advanced in some regards to being able to like socialize and play around. That's very like encouraged in the culture. So I think that makes it easy for me to want to express in that way. But I think it is nice to be able to talk about that side of myself, even though like I'm not an expert. I'm just learning about it as we go. But it's really nice to share that other side of myself.
Absolutely. That's great. We're glad you can come on to Pan Africa Radio today. Let me give you the website for the workshop and for the performances that Blackout will be doing next week. So the workshop is at bit.ly.com Blackout Workshop. This is improv. It's going to be led by Alexis. And, said it's from 1 to 3 on UW campus. So if you go to that website, bit.ly.com, bit.ly.com /Blackout Workshop, all one word, Blackout Workshop. And Alexis, so improv and workshopping improv, what is it? Is it just like the dozens? Is that what y'all gonna do like all afternoon?
Is it like what? What's that?
Is it like the dozens? Y'all just gonna be spitting the dozens all afternoon?
This is a cool thing about the workshop, right? For one, I just wanted to point out, you don't have to have any experience with improv whatsoever to come out and do a workshop. It is designed so folks can show up, and you can show up as yourself, and very much like you're enough to bring to the table, right? And what we'll do is we'll look at some things around identity and being in conversation with folks, and switching, say, positions of status and ideas like that, and really be silly. And we're also going to have conversations on how do we talk about race, and how do we talk about gender, how do we talk about class, how do we do these things and still be ourselves in these conversations and show up for ourselves. Come out and we're going to have a blast. It's funny. You'd be like surprised at how trippy it gets when you really get to talk about real authentic things in a space where you also like get to laugh with it and be with it.
Excellent, excellent. Blackout is dedicated to inspiring more people of color to take the improv stage. And you can learn more about them at blackoutcomedy.org. Next Saturday, they've got a workshop during the day, 1 to 3 on UW's campus. That's bit.ly.com and / I'll give you the link to the whole experience. The performance is at 8 o'clock at Rabinia Courtyard. I think y'all going to be doing 2 sets. You'll have Bruce Blaq and myself doing the music in between and after. So go to bit.ly.com / Mad Blackout, MAD Blackout. Mad as in Madison, not as angry black people. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have music, soul, funk, Afro beats. Yeah. And bringing it to Madison for the first time, this all-black improv group. And guess what? You don't have to be black to attend any of these things. Is that correct?
True.
That's right. Yeah. But if you are, I guess you'll be expected to get on stage if you are. So, yeah. So,
no, sure. And bring everybody. Come have a conversation. Join us. Blackout unifies. That's what we do.
All right. I want you guys to
hold. Time doing it.
Thank you, Alexis. I want y'all to hold on for a second. We're going to get back to the music. You're listening to 89.9 FM, WORT Madison. Underneath us the whole time has been a trio of Eritrean sisters. They're called Aram Sisters, AERIAM. And they actually were on America's Got Talent, 2009. And,
that's right.
And I'm going to play one of their completely ridiculous songs. I think they made it when they were like 12. And then, but this song I'll let ride out. I'll let this song ride out a little bit. This one is, it's with the anemone. And let's see. They're providing background vocals to this song, and then the one after this, it's called "The Nature of the Experiment." That's this song. Aram Sisters just came out this year with the artist who's called the Anemone. And then we're going to play a song called Backpack by them. Hang tight, Blackout. Hang tight, listeners. You are on WORT FM, and you can listen live on WORTFM.org.
Yeah, thank you.
So one of the key issues I wanted to bring is that Richard Pryor used to have instead a perspective and a way to talk about blackness, but also African people. And we saw this in the movie Coming to America, and a barber shop where the Nigerian shoe shine guy is the butt of the jokes, right? And I'm just going to shut that off real quick. And this has been a thing, and we got Coming to America 2's coming out. I really wonder how they're gonna tackle this this bad history of African Americans in particular, using people from the continent as the butt of jokes. What's your perspective on some of that?
Who was that directed at?
Either of y'all.
My perspective, and I said this to someone about how my blackness is not content for you to make jokes. Like, what's so funny about my blackness? It's just that next layer of othering that is wildly unnecessary. It's like, you got presidents of places, doing blackface and wearing afros, and there's something really not just shallow. So something we refer to in the comedy out here, improv, is that's like low hanging fruit. That's like making fat jokes, talking about people's identities and all this kind of stuff, their gender or whatever, as the butt of a joke, or any marginalized groups of people, the butt of the joke. That we call that low hanging fruit, and we always encourage people I really need you to play to the top of your intelligence, right? I need to like think smarter.
I like that.
I can make fart jokes and all that stuff all day, but really, when you're playing smarter, when you're doing comedy in a really thoughtful way, it's richer, it's better, it's more relatable, it's more accessible, and I think that's like makes comedy, the quality of comedy, like superior. So they can have all that.
Yeah, I don't know if you talked about this before, John. These particular issues, but I'm sure you've got to have thinking about them growing up. As an immigrant youth, Eritrean American young man in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was your way of dealing with the kind of the self-hate that was turned into comedy or attempted comedy, directed towards African immigrants by African Americans?
Yeah. The Killmonger effect is real. I think that
okay.
It's kind of a situation in which you can live in both kind of truths, where I can understand the implications that white supremacy has on the globe. And here's a case where, even as a kid, I could see where both parties are coming from. Both parties meaning being black in America and being an immigrant from Africa. And it's one of those situations where all I can do now at a certain point is make fun of everybody's shoes. That's it. That's what it has to come down to.
Yeah, I bet you had those snaps about shoes and whatnot, growing up. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Excellent. Tola, you have any perspective on any of these issues at all? I mean, what I see in, like, let's say Nigerian movies like Nollywood is this kind of bumbling Black American, sometimes played by a Nigerian actor, right? A guy who comes with baggy pants and a gold chain, and he represents all of Black Americans or Western, blacks into Nigeria, and is loud, crude, obnoxious, right? It's something that's played with in the films as well.
So first of all, I will just want to say that for me, I think of a lot of these portrayals as things that people pick up from the media. Uh-huh. Think about it. There's been like years and years and years of this kinds of negative portrayals in the media. Mm-hmm. And so what you have people do is that they pick up on these things. And so, like you were talking about the way that Africans are represented in the jokes of African Americans, you have this situation whereby people who probably have maybe never been to Africa or something, but this is what they see. This is the negative portrayal that they have seen over and over in the media. And so when you want to make jokes, it just seems more, it comes more easily to, portray Africans as this kinds of people. And I think talking about the way that African Americans are portrayed in Nigerian movies, also I will think about it as something that has to do with, again, the media. Mm-hmm. So
media stereotypes.
Yeah, media stereotypes. So you see somebody in Nigeria who has never been to the US or does not really have a lot of exposure about what it is happening here, just picks up on these stereotypes and says, oh, the loud stereotype, the person who wears this baggy shirts and is loud when talking and is aggressive and is just all these typical things that you see appear on the TV. And I think it's gotten a lot better now because we owe a lot to the internet in terms of how people get to see other parts of the world and know what is happening in other parts of the world. I'm not saying that it is perfect yet. It is definitely not. There's still a lot to be done. But I think that it is getting better, that kind of stereotype.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming to know each other more through our online, right? We're sharing. You look at the grapevine on YouTube, right? Like that diaspora conversation that includes Nigerian Americans now, right? And second generation folks like John. And we're having conversations about our identity instead of pointing at each other using epithets, the BS word, right? And starting to laugh and love each other. I mean, I find a lot of African comedy things on the Churchill Show, and my discovery of Basket Mouth recently. Been exploring his stuff. I find it to be very hilarious, and I entreat you all our Pan-African listeners who are not on that. You're missing out on a lot. Go ahead and YouTube something. Anything else you want to say? Blackout, you guys are coming next week again to do a workshop and a performance. February 8th, Saturday, February 8th. The workshop at 1 to 3 at Madison, and a performance at Rabinia Courtyard, bit.ly.com/Mad Blackout. Anything you guys want to close out on those topics or issues?
Yeah, sure.
This is Alexis, by the way. One of the.
What's that?
This is Alexis, who's leading the workshop.
Yeah. That's just really a beautiful thing that as like Black folks, we're not a monolith, right?
Absolutely.
But because of our Blackness, when we come together, specifically, speaking to improv and creating theater, like it's unscripted, right? We're just making stuff up as we go. It's the familial experience, and I say this a lot, the familial experience that helps us connect so well. And so when we're telling stories together, whether it's like Blackout on stage or we do a POC-only improv or Black-only improv, there's already an intersection, like immediate in the room, and we are almost always going to know each other's coming from, and it makes it so much smoother to build on, and it's funny, and again, becomes this like visceral and communal experience. So, it's like, come as you are, your experience, part of that is shared almost all the time with Black folks in a space. And when you're doing comedy and we're joning on each other or just like, doing these bits with each other, it shines through. So
excellent.
That's something important to me, and I love that. And
it really breaks down the barriers too, right? When you have, this is the barriers between us as Black folks, diaspora.
Exactly. That's the greater part of my point there. Yeah.
Yeah. And also for the other people in our audience, European Americans, Asian Americans, there's a lot to learn. It's Black History Month. Let's sit around watching documentaries, though. I have to plug the Skip Gates documentary. Before you watch Roots, okay, before you go to Toby, right, go watch that Skip Gates documentary on ancient African civilizations. That will blow your mind. It really did for me.
Right.
John, looking forward to the performance, and so excited to see you bring Blackout, you and Alexis and the team coming next Saturday. Anything else you want to share with us?
Honestly, just come on out. We hope that if you're gonna laugh, and that we hope we all can learn from each other. That's really the hope.
Love, laugh, learn, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Growing perspective that happens.
Just like the sign on the wall says, right? All right, okay. I'm done trying to be a comedian. Okay, all right.
No, we'll get into it. We can go on forever, really, though. But really appreciate the opportunity to share what we do. And, folks come out and laugh and sharing the experience. It's like Blackout is for everybody. But, namely Black folks who need to see and experience and feel and share and some, like, community and joy. Just like some really funny stuff. It's important for us all. Let it be healing,
That's Alexis Camille and Jonathan Gebratatosi. Did I get it?
Get it, man. John Gebratasi.
Gebratasi. All right. Well, looking forward to see y'all next week. We're going to continue on with Pan Africa Radio. Thanks so much for coming, and I'll see you next weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to 89.9 FM WORT Madison, Pan Africa with DJ Bruno Zaire and my guest, Tola